My name is Heather O'Donnell. I'm 22 years old, and I'm a single mom to a beautiful 8-month-old girl. And I've lived quite a bit of life, and so I just want to share my life with you. I am a feminist. I'm an activist. I am pro-woman, and I just like to discuss my experiences and kind of just share my experiences with other women and kind of just make them feel as comfortable as possible. So about a year ago, I separated from a narcissist, and this narcissist was my husband, and he was considered a covert narcissist. To define a covert narcissist pretty quickly for you, it's a narcissist who abuses people through vulnerability. And so their main tactic is to guilt, to pity people, to portray, vulnerability, to portray humility, to portray kindness, to portray goodness. They tend to have a shy demeanor, a meek demeanor, and it's quite the opposite of an overt narcissist. But an overt narcissist and a covert narcissist do have a lot of the same core values about them, which is that they are deeply insecure people who are traumatized from a very young age. And it's typically because a lot was expected of them, or they were neglected. Sometimes it's because they were spoiled. And so it's just a range of different things that can happen in childhood that develops narcissistic personality disorder. And narcissism is defined by, an inability to have empathy and connect with others on what other people are feeling. They're unable to understand and connect in ways of intimacy or emotions or empathy. And they really lack a lot of conscience towards other people. But today my goal is to not just talk about narcissists, but to talk about how to move on from a narcissist, and which is really difficult to do because narcissists trauma bond you throughout their relationship. And so this trauma bond, and it's something you should look more into if you're feeling this way, but it's basically they condition you to always come back to them. And they do this by rapid cycling you through a lot of drama and stress. And so they'll create situations that elicit a lot of stress, and then once you're at a breaking point, then they'll soothe you. So whether that's taking you out to dinner, apologizing, doing something that you've been asking them to do for a long time, and then you'll have some sort of sense of relief for a momentary amount of time, and then they'll start causing stress again. And so it causes this constant state of confusion, which will result in cognitive dissonance. And this is the term where two different realities are happening at the same time, and the brain chooses to believe the good to protect themselves from the bad. So when we are trauma bonded to the narcissist, it makes for a relationship that's really hard to get over, because we may know with our minds, that this person, that we don't like being around them, we don't enjoy their presence, we don't have a lot in common, you don't trust them, you don't believe them, you're not attracted to them. You can have all these things and know all of these things, but for whatever reason, you still keep going back to this narcissist. Well, that's the addictive cycle that they've created over an extended period of time, slowly breadcrumbing you, which is another term. If you don't know what that term is, it's definitely something you should look into, where they give you less and less and less affection over time to make you more desperate for it. So today, the topic of this episode is how to get over the narcissistic trauma bond, how to get over the narcissist, because that's all we want, right? We want this freedom, not only in our personal lives, but in our mind. And our mind is the most powerful thing that we have. And so this is a process. This is not something that just happens. And the process, a lot of it is just becoming educated about what narcissism is and realizing how you've been abused and accepting that the person that you were with was a narcissist. And that is probably the hardest aspect, is understanding that none of your relationship was real. It was all fabricated. And that's really difficult to do if you were in a long-term relationship with somebody. If it was, 1 year, 6 months, 20 years, 40 years, it happens all the time. People will stay with narcissists for a really, really long time and have no idea that these people have never felt any real genuine connection to them. So accepting that a narcissist is going to be one of your biggest steps to getting over them. Once you've accepted that a narcissist is a narcissist and you don't waver from that constant thought, your next step to officially getting over a narcissist forever is to change perspective of how you view them. Okay? You cannot view them like another person. Okay? This is what has helped me the most. Now, although they're a human being and that they deserve respect as a human being, you have to, in your mind, visualize basically like an animal, something that, kind of like those lions or tigers that are trained and brought up around people, they can act, and connect with these humans, but at the end of the day, they're a wild animal and they will, most likely attack you. So the narcissist is in the same way. They may put on the facade of showing love, showing empathy, but at the end of the day, they're still a wild animal. They're still a narcissist, and they will always go back to their personality disorder. And the significance about a personality disorder is that it's not a mental illness. Illnesses can be treated. Personality disorders cannot. They can become aware of their personality disorder, but they cannot change who they are. And so becoming aware of their personality disorder is going to be a huge step, and it's most likely not going to happen because their personality disorder benefits them in a lot of ways. Their personality disorder doesn't personally affect them. It only affects people around them. And so for those reasons, narcissists will most likely not seek help because they do not feel shame, they do not feel guilt, and most of the time they get what they want out of life, which is usually sex, money, and power and control. Those 4 things are the motivators for a narcissist because those are the things that they can connect with. They can't connect with other people, but they can connect with tangible things. Narcissism is on a spectrum. So one narcissist may be a little bit different than the next narcissist, where it might be more severe than others. But for the most part, you just kind of have to treat them all the same. And so the biggest thing that I constantly bring up in my mind is, hey, I'm dealing with a wild animal. And so it kind of takes the personal aspect out of it, because enduring narcissistic abuse can feel incredibly personal. It will make you feel like, why me? Why me? What was it about me that made them pick me? What was it about me that made them decide that they're going to torture me for years? Like, what did I do beyond loving them, being there for them, supporting them, pouring every part of myself into them? You will just psychoanalyze yourself over and over again. Like, well, maybe I'm a codependent, maybe I'm an empath, maybe I'm this, maybe I'm that. But at the end, it's probably none of those things. Like, you were probably just there And because of the fact that you were literally just there, they chose you. I mean, it's just about who is physically around. It doesn't have to be anything in particular at all. It's just whoever will, be there and listen to them. That's who they're going to take advantage of. They're not going to be taking advantage of people who don't like them. They're going to avoid those people. So if you in any way, shape, or form, give the narcissist your attention, consider yourself chosen. Okay? Even though they do like negative attention, typically they will not hold on to supply that starts off as negative. They want positive, positive, positive. And that's why they love bomb you so strongly in the beginning of the relationship, because they are hoping that you hold on to that love bombing for years, for who they were in the beginning for years. But that love bombing is a complete facade. And so to kind of ground myself and take care of myself, whatever my narcissist does in my life, I always bring it back to the point that not necessarily they don't have control, but they don't have control of not being able to take advantage of an opportunity to hurt you post discard. Okay? Narcissists lack this thing. It's called object constancy. And object constancy is the ability to see the good and bad in people at the same time. So if you're doing good things for the narcissist, they will view you as good. But if you inconvenience the narcissist, they will see you as a bad person. And it has nothing to do with who you are overall. It's only who you are in relationship to them. So you could be, a person who gives to the community and really supports some really great causes and constantly, gives of yourself to other people. But if you have a tiff with the narcissist is going to label you as bad, and they're never, ever going to be able to unsee the quote unquote bad person that you are. And so us as regular people who don't struggle with narcissistic personality disorder, a breakup or a separation can be really painful because we see the good and the bad in people. We see, they have these good qualities and they have these bad qualities. So I'm going to miss these good qualities that this person have through the separation. But the moment the narcissist flips, because they lack object constancy, all the good that you've ever given to them, they literally have forgotten it. It does not matter anymore. And it's not because they don't appreciate you. Well, actually, that's true. They don't appreciate you, but they expect everybody to give them everything they want. So it's an entitlement. The reason they can't appreciate you, not that they don't appreciate you, they can't appreciate you because the good that you did for them was expected of you. It wasn't a favor. It wasn't, you going out of your way. It's what you needed to do for them because of how great and amazing they are. So any sacrifice that you have made for the narcissist, they don't view it as a sacrifice. They view it as what you should be doing because of how amazing and great they are and because they deserve the love that you're giving them. So with that being said, the moment that you've disagreed with them or you criticized them or you have held them accountable or exposed them for the wrongdoing that they've done in your life, you are automatically now considered a bad person, enemy number one, and they are going to destroy you at all costs because you have impeded on their incredibly fragile ego. They cannot stand it because when you criticize a narcissist, it puts them into a spiral of identity crisis because they truly believe that they are the best of the best. So when you go against that in any way, shape, or form, the only way to recover from that is to destroy you, because the alternative is to look in the mirror and see something less than perfect and to take accountability for their wrongdoing. And that will literally break their brain. What is called as narcissistic injury. So after a narcissistic discard, if you've called them out, and more so even if you have discarded them in any way, to recover their broken ego from their narcissistic injury, they're going to do a multitude of things. These things can be quite hurtful, because they will do a smear campaign to destroy your reputation, to turn people against you. They will send flying monkeys your way. And if you guys are somehow married or in a business together, they will financially abuse you. They will alienate your kids against you. And all of these things that you may not even be able to understand how they could turn so quickly and become so cold and stay so cold. But that's because the object constancy that I was speaking of earlier. So the best way to recover, and as hard as it may be, is to approach a narcissist as if they were an animal, not to degrade them in any way, shape, or form, but you wouldn't become offended, if a dog barked, right? If you're out on a walk in your neighborhood and you hear a dog barking, you wouldn't be like, wow, that dog really hates me. That dog keeps barking at me. Why does this dog keep barking at me? What did I do wrong to this dog that this dog is barking at me? This is unbelievable. I mean, all I've ever done is think, wow, this dog is so cute and so amazing. I don't know why it's coming at me like this, barking at me. That's unbelievable. No, you would not have that experience with a dog. So once you've accepted that a narcissist is a narcissist and you don't veer from that, everything they do after that fact, you have to accept in the same way. Hey, this is who they are. This is what they're going to do. Every opportunity presented to them to hurt or to take advantage or to use or to manipulate, they will do that, because as a dog barks, a narcissist manipulates. And that is, it's very difficult, but it is incredibly freeing. It is the most freeing part of my journey coming out of this abusive relationship in my life, is to say, hey, the dog barks, a narcissist is going to try to control this situation in some form or another. And that really has taken the hurt and the pain away from it, because I often recall the beginning of the relationship. Previously I did, the love bombing stage, and just thought, wow, when did things go so wrong? Well, they were wrong from the time they laid eyes on you. They didn't see you as a person. They didn't see you as a potential mate that you could build your life with. They saw something as, you know what, I'm bored, and this is something that I can play with. This is something that I can use. This is someone I can take something from. And it's really sick. It's disgusting, But once you realize, hey, from the very beginning, that it was never real. Not a single moment of it was real. And once you disconnect yourself from the false reality that you've been living in, there is complete and utter freedom from that relationship. So thank you for listening to me. This has been 3 years of my life, and I am so grateful. I have learned so much, and I thank God every day for the situation that I have been in for the last 3 years. I feel like it was something that I needed to get out of my system. I'm so grateful because I am young, and this pain has taught me so much about people and about life and about myself, most importantly, and where I need my own personal healing and where I need to learn to establish boundaries and have a better relationship with myself. And I kind of got it out of my system so young that my life is only going to get better and better and better from here, because now I'm aware I'm aware of cluster B personality disorder, which people are now saying is 1 in 8 people suffer with a cluster B personality disorder. And so my hope is that I do not have to endure this again, and that I take the necessary precautions to really, protect myself and protect my daughter, and to raise her in the healthiest way possible. And so really there is nothing but good in my future for this. And I'm also super grateful because now I do have my daughter, and that's a part of myself that I was not in touch with at all. I was not in touch with my maternal aspect of myself. And so this relationship, despite how painful and breaking it was, has brought upon me the greatest blessing and gift of my life, which is my child. And there is nothing under the sun that I would change. She is absolutely the light of my life. And so I just thank God every day for the life that He's given me, and hopefully that I can help other people through their experiences as well.